Housewives Teddi Mellencamp cries over recent cancer update. Teddi Mellencamp Aroaf, who is known for appearing on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, recently shared an update with fans on Instagram. In recent years, the star has been dealing with skin cancer. She has since been keeping fans updated about her condition on social media. One recent video especially made fans emotional. Teddi Mellencamp shared a recent video filmed from inside her car. Mellencamp is arguably best known for appearing on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She served as a main cast member of the Bravo series from 2017 to 2020. She is also the daughter of songwriter John Mellencamp. Back in October 2022, Mellencamp had been diagnosed with stage I melanoma. In a recent video on Instagram, the reality TV personality shared some news with fans concerning a recent checkup. While filming inside of her car, Mellencamp noted, "Oh my God, just got done having a little cry, but it's a good one. It's the first time in over 2 years I've gone in for my 3 months check and not had to have a biopsy because I have another cancerous spot. Me and my doctor, we just looked at each other and was like, what?" Mellencamp continued, "It was, oh my gosh, that's a good feeling, but I'll go back in March. Stay diligent with my checks." Ending the video, she then took the time to remind her fans to book your skin checks, book your mammograms, book your OB/GYN appointments, book your eye doctor appointments, etc. In the caption, the reality star wrote, "Going in for my continual 3-month skin checks is never easy. The anxiety always takes over. The thought of another biopsy, another surgery, another addition to the scar on my back." The reality star re-emphasized the importance of getting regular checkups. Mellencamp also noted, "I'm grateful for my doctors, nurses, family, friends, and all of you for your continual support. As long as you're here, I have a reason to keep advocating for myself and for others." The reality star also repeated her concern with fans that they regularly get their health checked, as ended the post, "And if you need to get your skin checked but have yet to make an appointment, what are you waiting for?" Many fans shared similar words of support for the star. As one wrote, "This is the best Christmas present ever." Another shared the following advice: "You are definitely not alone in that response. I have found that over time, and with more problem-free visits, it does lessen in intensity. Here's to many, many, many more uneventful checkups." Teddi Mellencamp, the former star of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, sat on the couch, her eyes red from crying, her hand wrapped tightly around her coffee cup as if it could offer some comfort. Her face, usually so composed and in control, now wore a mask of vulnerability, one she had only shown to her closest friends and family. It had been a year since Teddi's life had been irrevocably altered. The diagnosis, the treatment, the emotional roller coaster that had consumed her. Yet, as the updates kept coming, there were still moments when she felt like the weight of it all could crush her. And today, those moments felt particularly heavy. "I thought I was handling it better," she admitted, her voice cracking. She took a shaky breath, trying to steady herself. "But then I got this call. The results aren't what I expected." Her eyes fluttered shut as she replayed the phone call in her mind, the words echoing through her thoughts like a nightmare she couldn't shake off. Cancer. It wasn't something she ever expected to face in her own life. Sure, she had seen it touch the lives of others, but the very idea of it happening to her had always seemed distant, a concept too abstract to feel real. But now, sitting in her living room, with the weight of her recent diagnosis, it was all too real. The doctor had called with the latest update on her condition. The news, though not as dire as some feared, was still enough to send a shiver down Teddi's spine. A lump had been found, and though it wasn't cancerous yet, it was in a stage where it could develop into something far worse if not addressed. The uncertainty of it all was maddening. She couldn't help but feel like she was living in a constant state of waiting, where each day felt like a ticking clock, counting down to an unknown future. The hardest part, Teddi reflected, was how different this battle felt from anything she faced before. Her career had always been a whirlwind of activity. Being a wellness coach, an entrepreneur, a mother, and a wife to the ever-supportive Edwin Arroyev, her life had been a balancing act of constant movement. Now it felt like everything had slowed down, and with each moment of silence, the enormity of her situation loomed larger. Teddi wasn't one to shy away from sharing her life with her fans. She had always been open, almost to a fault, with her followers. Yet this was different. This wasn't a curated Instagram post or a staged photo with a perfectly filtered smile. This was raw, unfiltered Teddi, the woman behind the glamour shots, the accountability coach persona, and the reality television character who, at the end of the day, was just a person, a mother, a wife, a daughter, facing something terrifying. She leaned back against the couch, wiping her tears, her heart heavy with the uncertainty of what came next. "I don't know what I'm supposed to feel," she whispered to herself. "One minute, I think I'm okay, and the next, I'm drowning in fear." The idea of cancer, of having to face it head-on, was not only daunting for Teddi, but it was also something she couldn't fully share with her children yet. She had 2 young kids, Slate and Dove, and though they were too young to fully grasp the gravity of what she was facing, the thought of having to explain it to them filled her with dread. Her role as their mother was to protect them, to shield them from pain and worry, but how could she protect them from something like this? The night before, Edwin had held her close as she sobbed in his arms, his steady presence a balm to her wounded soul. He had always been her rock, and even in the hardest of times, his love for her was unshakable. But the toll that Teddi's health had taken on their family wasn't lost on her. She could see the worry in his eyes, the quiet strength in his demeanor as he did everything he could to keep life as normal as possible for their kids. Teddi wiped her eyes once more, then stood up and moved toward the window, looking out over the sprawling city of Los Angeles. The view was breathtaking, as it always was, but today it felt somehow distant. The lights below twinkled like a sea of stars, but Teddi couldn't shake the feeling of isolation that had begun to settle in her chest. She wasn't used to feeling vulnerable. For years, she had been the one who offered advice, the one who supported others as they navigated their challenges. As an accountability coach, Teddi prided herself on being a source of strength for her clients, helping them achieve their personal goals. But now she found herself needing that very support, and it felt strange to ask for it. "I'm scared," Teddi admitted to the room, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm scared of the unknown, scared of what could happen next. I've been trying to keep it together, but sometimes it just feels like too much." But even as she spoke the words, she knew deep down that this was part of the journey. The road ahead would not be easy, but it wasn't one she had to walk alone. She had a support system, a group of people who cared for her, who loved her, and who would be there to lift her up when she couldn't do it herself. Teddi had always been a fighter. She had faced challenges before, navigating the world of reality TV, building her business, and raising 2 young children. But this was different. This was personal, and it would test her strength in ways she couldn't yet comprehend. Still, as she took another breath and wiped away the last of her tears, Teddi knew that no matter what the future held, she would face it with grace. She had to. For herself, for her family, and for all the people who had supported her along the way. She wouldn't let fear control her. She would take one day at a time, and with each step, she would hold on to the hope that the future, though uncertain, was still full of possibilities.